farmers. But we're not going to talk about this. We're going to specifically talk about Csa and what we've sorry. County-specific advocacy topics. You can't hear me and you're not saying. Sorry. Yeah, that's better. Huh? So like I mentioned, we had 12 milestones. Milestone number 7 was participation in country-specific regenerative agriculture policy development and review processes, facilitation of awareness, creation on country-specific advocacy topics, and engagement with the county leadership teams on both technical and elective issues with regards to regenerative agriculture. We also were involved in facilitation of publishing of country-specific advocacy policies, bills, amendments, and budgets, and public participation in review of RA proposals in the county. And also, lastly, the launch of and presentation of country-specific RA policies, acts, and budgets. So we developed policy briefs for the various counties that are here. We also ensure that the policy briefs were then enacted into the petitions that were finally presented to the county leadership on RA issues. So what are some of the achievements that we've been able to carry out as a project? Number one, we carried out the RA champions capacity building. So the RAs were trained, and every county had a representation of at least 2 RA champions through the support of the project. And of course, this area representing the specific counties that the project is working in. We developed 5 policy briefs that were speaking to the RA issues in the specific counties of focus for all the counties that are included in the project. We rolled out a Csa-Msp for all the counties, that's Nakuru, Kericho, Uasin Gishu, Kakamega, and Bungoma. And we developed petitions for the RA champions. We brought the RA champions together who developed petitions. And these petitions were then represented to the farmers for signature reviews, and subsequently then presented to the leadership. Sorry, the computer has gone off.
on climate smart agriculture and these multi-stakeholder platforms. We see that policy is very important, having policy makers within us and trying to push for some of these activities that we are doing and impactful, especially those that are impactful on the ground. To be part of the policy is very key, so it's very good to have policy makers as part of the stakeholders. Also, the other thing is having researchers on board, because if we cannot have proven innovations or some of these activities that we are doing, the innovations that we have on the ground that are climate smart, then how do we present facts to the people that make decisions in this country? Then the other thing, of course, is to involve the end users, and that's why they are here today. So some of the things that we'll be discussing today are not just to showcase what we are, we could be saying we are traveling to this county, we are traveling to this, but why are you traveling? To do what? So the impact that we make in those counties are very critical. I think you can continue even if it's not projected.
Yes, so we're having difficulties with with technology. So what are the key learnings that we had from implementing this project? Number one was co-creation, and with co-creation is the ability to bring together different partners that are working in different space, and of course just leveraging on the various strengths to be able to achieve the set objectives. So I think as we move forward with this project, we need to co-create more and also leverage on our strengths as partners. Number two was stakeholder engagement and buy-in. As Nekesa has mentioned, I think it's very important because we're in the space of creating policy, and for us to be able to effect policy at any stage, we need to have buy-ins of all the stakeholders that the policy is affecting, and that's drawn from the government, the private sector, the farmers, and all the players in the space that we are working in. So as we were implementing this project, I think it was key for us to have a buy-ins of the various partners that we're working with, those that are actually drawn from research organizations, the government, and the farmers that were also involved in this project. And lastly was the capacity building. As we continue to roll out the project, I think it's very important for us to continue capacity building and training on the various aspects that we're trying to achieve with regards to regenerative agriculture. So I think that will be. Thank you, Pauline. So that's a photo of the farmers during the petitioning, the presentation of the petition and signature collection. I think that should be Kericho County. So some of the strategies that we've been able to develop under AIMS, the Kakamega County Horticulture Strategy, Uasin-Gishu Agribusiness Strategy. I think Felix has already alluded to this. This and Bungoma Csa-Msp. So those three have been completed, but we're working on now the Kakamega County Agroecology Strategy that we hope should also be concluded soon. So those are some of the strategies that we were able to achieve as a project. I think those were the key learnings. I've already mentioned co-creation, stakeholder engagement and buy-in and capacity building. Thank you very much.
Tumekunywa chai? Hiyo clap inakaa ni kama hatujakunywa. I think that's better. It also motivates him to come back next time so that he doesn't abandon us. So we are going into a very interesting session where we are going to have the highlights of the project interventions and results. So we have a panel where we're going to have our guest of honors today. So we have Professor Thomas Rewe. Don't know if he's in the house. Yes, Karibu. Then we have Patrick Sigei from SNV. Has he come? Patrick? Sorry? Oh, it's already, sorry. Okay, sorry. Why? Sorry. I think niko nimerudi nyuma juu sikukua. Sa unaona? Sorry. So we have the next panel session. We have array champions. I've even said farmers. So we have Felix Odingo coming on board. Felix. Then we have our farmer champions. Please take seats here. No wonder you are looking at me like, what's happening? My brain stopped where I left. So I left when you are having the highlights, and that's where I went back to. But anyway, I think karibuni sana. So this session is basically to give what is going on the ground, share insights, and to also just let you know that this climate smart agriculture actually works, because these are the farmers. These are the people who are actually doing it on the ground, and they'll give us an opportunity to actually share what they have. And the first question, we keep it brief but factual and on point. So the first question goes, the role of farmer champions as leaders in promoting these activities on the ground and demonstrating the regenerative agricultural practices. Can you share your experience on that?
Yeah, thank you. I'm Fred Kabe from Kakamega. Oh. Tumezoea kutembea. So as I was saying, I'm Fred Kabe from Kakamega County, RA champion, especially in Butere sub-county. Let me start by giving a brief history on where we started, where we are, and where we would like to go. Luckily, I'm old enough to have seen our soils during the earlier days in the 70s. The soils were very fertile, and you could grow, we could grow our crops without any fertilizers. Then came around 1973-74 there, when sugarcane was introduced there. And with the sugarcane, there came the inorganic fertilizers. In order to get maximum produce, they brought TSPs, DAP, and SSP. Those fertilizers really contributed to killing our soils. As I say now, our soils are in the ICU. They are very bad. In the early days, you could broadcast your seed and it would grow and you would get a bumper harvest. When the soils became degraded, we applied more inorganic fertilizers and they went on dying and dying. Luckily, with interventions, when we could not even produce enough to feed our households, partners like Csa M&E came, and in our particular case, it is Gluck who came to do research on our farms. As Gluck was doing the research, we were copying and going to replicate in our farms. We started seeing improvements. As you will see later on, we had come to a point where some undesirable flowers started growing in our fields, that is striga. But when we planted with organic fertilizers like Bumax, Ecoplant, Evergrow, we saw an immediate improvement. We got a more increased harvest, and the striga infestation decreased. We are really thankful for that, because we didn't know that you could apply in organic fertilizers, and in most cases we didn't know about them. But during the research we came across them, we knew about them, we incorporated with our farmyard manure making techniques, and we have started seeing improvements. And if it goes on, very soon we shall go back to being the breadbasket. We shall even overtake Trans Nzoia and wherever else. I'm very glad our Director of Agriculture is here, and I can tell you that we are very passionate about these RA practices. We have even written a petition. If you haven't, if it hasn't reached your desk, it is on the way coming. If it reaches you, please take it very seriously. We are very passionate about it, and we can assure you that with your intervention, we shall spread the gospel of RA effectively, and we shall be very food secure, and we shall even have enough, more than enough to export.
Thank you so much. Let's give him a clap. As we move on to the next one, I would like you to add a little bit more about your experience, especially on farm. Just looking at, he's mentioned about striga. I don't know if you've had the same experience with striga or any of the other farmers, but what did you notice after employing these technologies on your farm? And also in terms of the soil health, in terms of what did you see on the ground? So.
Thank you, Madam Facilitator. Good morning once again. I'm Rogers Juma from Bungoma County, Kabuchai Sub-County, Western Londo Ward. I'm a farmer, and first and foremost, I wish to personally appreciate SOCA and its associate partners for the task they have taken in the project, being at the forefront, not only at implementing, but also at organizing stakeholder forums at different levels. At personal level, I was inducted in the project through a farmer field school called Marakaru Women of Hope, where I'm the organizing secretary. My personal experience on the project, I received it because at the initial stage when I was looking at my farm, I would say I was not managing it properly. There was totally poor land management. I was experiencing soil erosion. I was also experiencing low productivity, and I was also burning the crop residues. So through the capacity building, I realized that there is much I could do to improve the status of the land. So one of the issues that I did, I started using the chicken droppings. I mean the poultry droppings, but on a small scale. It was like doing on-farm plots. I get a little bit, I pour on a particular area. So with the time, I realized that where I was using the droppings, I was not using more of the commercial fertilizers like the DAP, because we are using DAP for some time. And then I also started doing thrash lines. Now I was not burning the crop residues, but I was using thrash lines. I organized them on the farms. Then with the time I realized that they were rotting. And where they were rotting, there was some change of soil color. Then for some time I realized there was now the soil erosion component was not prevalent so much, because I organized and planted some trees, the short-term trees like the Sesbania Sesban, and I also used Caliandra along the ridges where I also did some terraces on grass band. I'm using Napier. And then with the time, I realized that some productivity started improving. One of the issues that I noted so much was the change in soil texture. I started using composting through the capacity building. I started making compost. And after some time, where I was applying the compost, there was some change in the color of the soil, even the soil texture. I could now dig. I happened to have attended another training where I was given some tools, the conservation agriculture tools like the shallow weeder. So I was not now using the ordinary jembe to do the weeding. I was using the shallow weeder. So when I was using the shallow weeder, I was just leaving the weeds on top so that they could now dry up, and I incorporate them in the soil while I was also doing the digging. Then when I was recruited as a champion, I interacted with some other farmers within the group, and now I was given the responsibility of doing replication of the training to them. So I also started training them. I became a link between the donor, Soka, IKEA, and the farmer. So whatever I was getting from Soka, I could now transfer it to the farmers. So we are sharing the knowledge. I also realized that through what I was doing, I was narrowing the gap, because you realize in Bungoma, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Extension Service, at some point the ratio of our staff, the ward agriculture officer was 1, and he was attending to around 2,200 farmers. So when now we came in through Soka and IKEA, we are also complementing what the ministry was doing. So that was also one of the roles I was playing. Then I was also now able to mobilize this group wherever there's a meeting. I mobilize them, then I also sensitize them on what is supposed to be done. But apart from that, above all, we are now doing the sharing of information at different platforms. I met my colleagues from Wasingishu, from Kericho, from Nakuru, from Kakamega. So we started sharing experiences based on the research that was being undertaken. Personally, on my farm, I haven't seen striga weed because I was doing some cover cropping using the Muguna cover crop. So I haven't seen the effects of striga weed on my farm. But what I can say right now, maybe I would wish that I had some projections, some photographs of my farm. I could project them there so that you could see. Then I'm also doing crop rotation. I harvested the maize. Like this year, on a very small piece of land, I managed to get around between 7 to 8 bags of maize, which was so good, unlike the previous years. Even farmers, who are, because I'm just along the road, some of them were passing and said, which variety is this? And how did you manage? Even I remember at one point the former PC, John Nandasaba, he came and stopped there and looked, and then he asked, whose farm is this? Then by good enough, I was just along the fence. Then I said, Mheshimiwa Jambo, because I recognized him. I said, this is my farm. I said, this is very good. What have you done? Then I told him, I'm just trying to do the regenerative agriculture practices. I'm doing composting. I'm also integrating with the NPK, because most of the time I was using DAP. But this time I changed and used the NPK. But I also used the improved seed from the seed is called what is called Tembo maize variety, and the production was so good. I wish I could also project that so that you can see. It's the photos are on my phone. So basically that's what I can be able to say. But maybe just to add on, as my colleague said, during the petitioning process, Bungoma, we are lucky we managed to present our petition, and I'm happy Madam Jen, the Director of Climate Change, is here. She witnessed. Waziri was also there, who received on behalf of the county government. How I wish that the county, both the national government officials who are in the meeting and the county officials, they could give it a push that whatever we had petitioned can be adopted into the government policies. I think that's the best gift that we can give to Soka, Kuluk, and even IKEA for having initiated the project. Then as I conclude, may I just say, there is something I was going through. I wish the same effort could be replicated on this regenerative agriculture strategy. There is what we call, I think it is from the government, migratory and invasive weeds and pest management strategy 2022-2027. Because I was making some comparative analysis, you realize that the migratory pests and invasive weeds, within a very short time, it has attracted and received a lot of attention, both from the central government and even key stakeholders. And within a short time, they have already produced a document, a strategy. I will also request the government officials in the House, if they could also apply the same effort, then also come up with the regenerative agriculture 2025-2035 strategy. It could also help us push the agenda as upscaling and sustainability approach. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That deserves a big clap. I think that should be a punchline for this, for today. I think that's a very good point that you've raised. And as we move on to the next champion, could you please include some challenges? Because you know we are all hearing good things, but let's be real. What are the challenges that you go through when we're talking about, employing some of this climate smart agriculture? What lessons have you learned, and how have you overcome them? Yeah.
Thank you. I'm Ngetich Philip from Wasingishu, Moiben Sub-County, Tabeli Award, RA champion of Wasingishu. As for my colleagues, I've said, to be realistic in RA implementations, it's very, very impressive when it is fully practiced. But now, when something new comes in, there is so many things which needs to be involved. And the very key issue is agribusiness, because now we are living in the world of earning and in the world of living a good life. But now the challenge is resource mobilization. That's the first challenge. The second thing is how the competition, because now we have realized that this RA every farmer is in a position to make sure that from his or her own farm, he needs to produce the high number of yields or pamba harvest. But now, how could it be? Because of synthetic applications. That's the competition we have. But now, if synthetic continues, as one of our partner said, we feed the plant neglecting the soil. And thus the future will be cut short. Now, these plants needs a lot of organic fertilizers. We haven't practiced psycho-farming that, as my colleague has said, you take chicken droppings, manures from the cows, decomposed, and take it to the farm. But now, will it be effective in large-scale farmers? It won't be effective for large-scale farmers because they will not afford to practice this array in big farms. But small farms is effective. But now, if you don't have the alternative of getting these organic fertilizers, will you be in a position to do? It won't be. Those are the challenges we are facing. You find a farmer, he or she is able to practice this farming. Another calamity comes in, the market, the competition. Someone who uses fertilizers and other chemicals to make sure that it produces the huge or the high quantity of the product. And you are competing with that person whom you have struggled. You have purchased manures from so far. You have taken everything. You have taken so many keen consideration. The other person, because he or she has produced a large amount, he can withdraw it at low prices comparing with you. That's another challenge we are facing. Another challenge is policy. How could we recognize these things are genuine and this one are not genuine? We are in a flat rate where we know every produce is in a synthetic form. So we are taking everything is in a synthetic form. We don't have that recognition. That's why policies, we are advocating for it, so that if those policies are passed, then most of the people will transfer their knowledge to produce organic produce, so that to meet the high demand of the product which is needed. But if we continue neglecting recognizing those producing this, then we will continue eventually making our soils not good for productive. We will continue producing food with chemicals, not good health produce. But I myself, as a farmer, the challenge is market competition, comparing the two produce. Two is farm inputs, which is required by RA, especially organic fertilizers. If it can be accessed easily at an affordable price, it will be in good. We have this thing known as climate smart agroforestry. Agroforestry, it is good, but due to the land fragmentation, it won't be effective. It won't be effective because we are competing. We need food, at the same time we need environment. So if you ask someone to plant trees along the fence, he will ask you, what gain will I get from that one? I have to do this crop produce, which will earn me within a shorter period of time, and I will have moved my life in a better way. So those are the challenges we are facing. So we requested the national government and other stakeholders, partners, that let us kindly assist the farmers in policy making that will protect the RA producers and the market, to meet the market at a standard way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's a very good experience, and at least we know what we can experience, and probably some of the solutions that he has shared with us, we can be able to push or implement them. So the next question. I understand that you are trained on something called writing a petition, and it has been mentioned here. So how do you see the public participation, especially when you are rolling it out, the actualization of this petition? What was your experience? How was it in terms of engaging the community?
Morning, members. I'm John Kamau from Milimani Sub-Location, Subukia Sub-County in Nakuru County. Since devolution was established, we have seen that now most of our communities are involved in so many activities, especially in, let us say, in public participation, when the county government wants either to pass their budget, or if there is any proposal either from the government or the county government, there must be a public participation to create awareness to the communities of what is happening. The time we wrote the petition, one thing, we had a tough time because of mobilizing the community and also informing them what our plans were. So some even could ignore attending those meetings, because we know our people, whenever they are called, they will always ask, will there be any reimbursement either of fare or lunch? That is the biggest challenge our people have, that if you want them to attend either a meeting, the first question is, will there be any reimbursement? So we took a lot of time to convince them that what you are doing, it's not for our own benefit, but it is a long-term benefit. Let me use for my Nakuru County. The other thing we saw is that because you cannot go direct to maybe communities who are not interested of what you are doing, we mostly engage our farmer field schools members, because we normally meet them either 2 times per month. And because in our area or in other areas, we have so many farmer field schools, those were the people whom we targeted. And after targeting to them, we explained or we read to them what was contained in that petition. If we had, it's part of the agriculture and the activities that they are doing, maybe about regenerative agriculture and other things, they were even more eager to know what you are requesting the county government to do for them. We gave so many examples, like the national government is subsidizing the synthetic fertilizer. Why can't there be a policy that the county government or the national government can also subsidize the organic fertilizers? The other thing was about the research bodies. We have seen that our crops are not doing well because maybe the pH of our soil is very, very acidic. So farmers are always doing a lot of work, either using the synthetic fertilizers in terms of maybe acreage. Maybe once one person was maybe using 75 kgs to plant an acre of maize, but the products have lowered. So he's always adding more fertilizer, When the samples of his soil were tested, you see the results are saying that the soil is very, very acidic. Now, what does that farmer do
to reduce the soil pH. After telling them that we have so many components that can reduce the pH of the soil, either by making the bokashi, either the composting or the farmyard manure or other FPJs, those plants extracts. That's the time you see now that farmers are now eagerly joining you, or they are eagerly waiting to fix the day of the meeting so that they can come and participate. They sign the petition so that you can take it to the relevant bodies. Another challenge of our farmers is timing. Because when you call a meeting, and maybe those farmers are very, very busy in their field weeding, do you expect any turn up at the meeting? So sometimes the timings of the meetings are very, very challenging because always farmers are busy. So you cannot convince a farmer atoke kwa shamba yake akuje mkutano na at the end of the day hakuna kitu anapeleka nyumbani. So I have seen my county director of agriculture here, Bwana Githire, and I told him that he has a long way to go working with the sub-county agriculture officers to preach those gospel to the farmers. Kwa sababu year in, year out, you see people lining up to the national serious depots for synthetic wood, for synthetic fertilizers. And yet, yes, you are feeding the plant, but you are not feeding the soil. Which later, there will be a huge cry, kunaja serikali saidia. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that's a very insightful conversation, because you've just started a conversation today. I know we are going to be discussing.
I mean it also to add something on policies and public participation. We are facing a lot of challenges because sometimes farmers or members of the community attend public participation and other things. But they will present their issues in an articulate way, but when it comes to implementation or the report, it's upward or it's opposite. Other things have been injected, which is not direct to the beneficiaries. So those are the challenges we are facing. Some, even if you ask if anybody to attend public participation, he will tell you, I know my request will not be captured in the way I want it. In another public participation, kuna hii kinaitwa trickle down information. So sometimes members, they have discussed that we are going to petition this in our public participation, but written there, document is on the table. Just the wrapper stamp it, we take it back. Have you taken the consideration of what is affecting you? Because unasemanga kiatu kinajua mwenye inamfinya, and that is where we are. So our politicians, they are in the other level and farmers are in the other level. So I don't know who will unite the cup. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Points noted. I hope that is being noted, and it has to be really followed, because we have policy makers here. We have those who sit with the politicians. So we have the right forum to air our views. And again, as you have been taught how to do the petitions, let's keep pushing as farmers. I'm also a farmer, so anything that affects a farmer also affects me. And if I don't get food on my table, then obviously there's something wrong. Or if I get it at a very high price and it's not safe for me to consume, then there's a problem, right? So as we think about the technologies, because I see a lot of the farmers here, the champions, have raised issues around organic inputs not being in the subsidy program, organic inputs not being available. How are the agro dealers around your area in terms of stocking up some of these technologies and inputs. And please, feel free to even talk in Swahili or even your local language. We will translate so that, so that we understand the pain of being a farmer, right? So over to you, madam. And the only lady on the panel.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm Amy Kimeto from Kericho County, a farmer, a champion, a motivator, and more so a practicing farmer. So I want to take this opportunity first to thank the entire team, the Csa, the SNF, and the IKEA Foundation for the far that he has brought us. Really, we were down. We never even know about any technology. So we were doing something like from known to unknown. So technologies were there, but maybe us as farmers, we never knew that technologies are there. But we want to thank the entire team for the teachings and workshops and trainings that we have gone. When we talk about the maybe organic manure, so far in our place, let me talk about the Kericho County. We don't have any organic factory. We don't have any dealer with the organic materials, because when we want the organic, it is us farmers to do the composting. We do biopesticides for our own, because mostly those dealers, we are not seeing them. So what I've just learned, because when I started this project in 2021, my farm was really in a bad situation, where I had a 4.9 pH, which was very strongly very acidic. And what I really did in my farm is I never even waited for the process to be growing gradually. I turned as an organic farmer straight away, and I do composting to my farm. So that is where I get my manure. When we talk about other synergies, we had the first trainings and field days. We had Bumax company, Ecofix, but so far so good. I want just to tell SNV, those products are not available in our place, and it is a nightmare. But for me, I just make for my own. That is from the inception up to now where I am. It is almost 3 years. I've been using compost, I've been using slurry, and I don't have a biogas. I just borrowed from somewhere. So meaning you can even borrow. You can never predict that if all these people will not come close to us, maybe we shall not produce our crops. But what I just want to say is we have done composting, we have done biopesticide, and the challenge that we have as farmers is that coming now to, because I have produced, so coming to the market, I've heard about my colleagues talking about market. When it comes to market, we have to be certified, And us as farmers, we are down. We cannot do certification because as the government, certification first, you must have a lot of money. So meaning, how will farmers sell their power pesticides or manure after packing them, passing those processes? So I think that is what I say for now.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Amy. I think that's very powerful. And it also gives an opportunity. Don't you see an opportunity in selling these products? I know the certification process via KEBS might be really a tough process, but I think it's an opportunity for those who have learned to actually start selling some of these products to their neighbors. Like, for example, Roger's mentioned about his farm standing out. So it means that people are seeing what is going on the ground. Now to Felix, we'll come back. We'll come back to a punchline. All of you have to give us punchlines. We have to go home energized. So to Felix, what do you think is the way forward when you're looking at the vision of regenerative ag? I know you've been involved in this project right from the beginning. What do you think can transform the future of farming?
Okay, fine. So what I think can transform the future of farming, one is if the technologies are there are policies, let's say like if you look at from the national government has got a very elaborate CSA action plan. But this action plan, the way when it comes to implementation is where there is a parting of ways. Because with that action plan for the CSA main objective is for productivity and sustainability on paper. But when we get down to the implementation, the focus is more on productivity. So you look at the actions which being taken, it's more like mechanization of the farm, buying of synthetic inputs, and that's why you see like in the subsidy program, you'll hardly get the organic ones. So they are focusing on that because those ones will improve productivity, let's say the production, but not necessarily productivity. And then the sustainability part is what has been missing. So one is to empower now from the farmers now to start taking actions to follow up on these strategies which are there and ensure that they are followed. For one, if that is done, then we are able now to start having an active city farmers who bring their issues on the table and being involved at the let's say when they are starting to draft these policies, the issue should come from farmers, and farmers should be now, when they're doing their public participation and validating, they ensure that whatever they wanted is what it was there. So the current situation as it is, we see that the attitude of the farmers has not, maybe needs to change, but changing that attitude meaning somebody has to reach them. And the practicing farmers stand a better chance of influencing other farmers. And like the ones we have in the room and replicating the same in broader areas will be able to assist in this. So when we have this, the main challenge with that is at the initial stage, it needs resource because whatever they're doing is more voluntary. A lot of what these champions have done is voluntary, and now meaning they have to take their time to be there. But even that taking their time as they volunteer needs some kind of facilitation. So meaning if they are more incorporated within the ministry structure where they're coming from the sub-county level to county levels where they are at, and resources are allocated, or they find a way of incorporating them when they're making those decisions, at that point now is something which can now help us to move to the next level. Organic inputs, yes, because you look at it, it is still also a long way to go because a lot of it, as the farmers have alluded to it, that it's working well in small scale. And some of the farmers who are there are in large scale. Those who are now impacting more even on the production, what we are going to consume. Meaning whatever you're going to produce with these organic, with the organic inputs, which will now help us now to have some of our agroecologically produced products or practicing agroecology, means that more has to be done in terms of these inputs, in terms of availability, and also ensuring that they are in a way that they can be mechanized. And this one has to go through a policy direction, which also will enable even the producers of these inputs to invest more in that area, and also the farmers now being aware, and the government now facilitating that adoption. Because why we say that the government will, if we have a ministry, we are fortunate to have all of them here. At their training sessions, they'll talk about this sustainable production. They'll tell the farmers all how it is good to do this, how to use these inputs which support regenerative agriculture. But now when it comes now to their actions, it speaks different. It's the same officer who told you how to use the other one, other technologies might not be very good for your soil, will not be very sustainable. And now when they come with whatever they've said, that this one going forward, the more we use such kind of inputs, is going to destroy our soils. And they supply you with what they said are not very healthy in large numbers, or is what to use as holistic. So these are some of the things that we need to look at as how do we harmonize what we say, what is said, and what is done, especially at the ministry level, whom the farmers believe more. Because at the ministry level, that's where they believed more than because input suppliers are in business. So because if you are in business, the more you use my input, the better it is for my business. If you go to the fertilizer, they'll tell you better use exclusively fertilizer. So I know that if this is number of acreage, this number of bags are sold. So that's what they'll preach. But also they realize that you can use other things. But now at the ministry level, that's where they can harmonize and train, and so that everybody play a balance. Yes, you cannot go exclusively, because not everybody will be organic. But now, for us to maintain that production, we have to harmonize. How do you play the balance? So the government can assist in that through the offices of the CDS and other relevant ministry officials. And harmonization. We've had a challenge in the counties. The environment and agriculture. All these climate actions are vested in environment. And what they want to be practiced is to be done by farmers. And the farmers, the Ministry of Agriculture on the other side, have the extension service. How do you harmonize the two? How do you distribute? And hence the two work in harmony, such that whatever is on one side, now because one thing we've realized, if you go to these counties, you go to the Department of Agriculture, you ask about FLOCA, it is like something very new to the agriculture sector. Environment understands it well, and the implementers are on the other side. So how do we harmonize these things? And now creating more of the MSPs to be more vibrant, whereby all stakeholders are seated there, discuss the issues, and get way forward. So at those MSPs, whereby the CDS, the climate change units, who are members of the MSPs, become more proactive and bring their issues. They also do what they can do, but also bring their issues and take the action plan, like the strategic plans, which we did at the initial stage of inception of the MSP. So at that level, I think now with that one we can have a better change.
Thank you so much, Felix. As we wind up today, I know we might have some questions, but let's hold those questions. We'll have a time for the questions because we want to have another small panel before we break for lunch. So maybe just to give you an opportunity, I know there's something that is burning that you want to say. I know Rogers wanted the microphone. So just to give you an opportunity, 1 minute to just tell us, what would you like us to take home today? Yes. Fred, maybe we can start here as we go that way. Yeah.
My punchline is, had I been a musician, I would have composed a song to sing on the virtues of RA. Number two, Farmers are very willing. Before we go to the bigger picture, we can enable them by passing or disseminating this RA information to them on a wider scale. If only the facilitators on the ground can be enabled. Another thing is, on agroforestry, we shall be in line with the government policy of planting 15 billion trees. That's an RA practice. And also we shall be solving the problem that the government has of extension officers. Those facilitators are already there. They have the information. If you can use them, things will be different.
Thank you. Thank you, Fred. Rogers?
Thank you, Madam. Maybe my concluding remarks could be one. I wish to appreciate what Professor Osewe said in terms of organic fertilizer from farmers to the market. I believe it's one of the challenges. And the challenge is coming from the point of quantifying the nutrient content of this organic produce from organic fertilizers from our farms. You realize that the synthetic fertilizers are still the most preferred medium for plant growth, because when you look at the concentration, it's well labeled. But when I take like my wheelbarrow of compost or biochar, the quantification of the nutrient becomes a challenge. I can't quantify and say this is what I've been able in terms of nutrient content for the plant. So if our friends from Klook could help us come up with a way that we can quantify the nutrient content of possibly the common ones that we are using, not the commercial ones. Like when he comes on my farm, I'll show him this is the compost heap that I've made. How can I determine the nutrient content? Because I just know overall this is possibly for improving the soil and also supporting the plant growth. Then another issue that I also wish to highlight, in terms of adoption rate, we are still very far. And this is where I'm requesting the team in the House, let's pull our socks together, our efforts that we can improve. Because I was looking at Bungoma totally, in general, Bungoma has around 280,000 farmers. And at adoption rate for the FFS, because I was getting the data from the FFS that we're having almost 300 FFS, but they were formed when ICIPE came with a project called push-pull technology. So most of the time they were getting used to that technology. But through the regenerative agriculture, those of us who have the privilege to have participated, we are having around now 50 groups, farmer field schools, and those that we have been able to conduct around 25. So it brings a total of almost 2,000 farmers who are busy doing that with adoption rate of around 65%. But overall, when you look at comparing that to the total number of farmers, we are still below 1%, which is now gives us an opportunity to improve on upscaling the regenerative agriculture in the county. And then last but not least, I want to request our friends from SOCA, IKEA, and possibly the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Environment. We're having a challenge to harmonize data. Data collection and sharing has been a problem. And this one, the problem is coming at a level where, like, I happen to have visited, there's some information I was trying to find out from the National Cereals and Produce Board. They gave me data for 2023, 2024. The amount of fertilizer that farmers purchased 2023-2024 season is close to 450,000 bags of 50 kg. That one translates to around 23 tons. And the farmers who access the fertilizer are 1,000 102,000 farmers were able to access. I tried to reach the commercial outlets. They were giving me a round-up figure. Mimi nimeuza karibu 30,000 bags. Another one says nimeuza karibu 40,000. So they could not divulge much of the information and the number of farmers, because you have a farmer maybe picking 3 bags, 4 bags. And this is a combination of both planting and top dressing. So I wish to request that if you can, at the grassroots, because the data, the M&E tool that our friend Felix talked about, ilifika kwa county offices, lakini sisi huko kwa farmer field schools, we don't have that monitoring and evaluation tool that we can use now. This season, I've used on this particular unit of farm, number of wheelbarrows of I've used this bag of quantity of DAP and possibly 3 wheelbarrows of compost. If we can have that data, it's also enabling us now to, in future, to capture adoption rate per unit area. Then that one said, the issue of the field schools. I want to appreciate my colleagues who are here. We also have other facilitators on the ground. We have been sharing with them. If we could be enabled in terms of resources, that we go down there and capacity build them. Because in Bungoma, out of around 300, only 75 have been able to get that information on regenerative agriculture. 25 are still at inception stage, but these other 50 hao ndio walianza na wanaendelea. So that is my humble request. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rogers. Over to you, Philip.
Thank you very much for this second opportunity. My punchline is to the national government. I think we have this thing known as healthy soil, healthy life. Healthy soil, healthy life. If we take all our resources in ministry and invest in this, then we will be having a healthy life. Our doctors will no longer cause to strikes because of eye diseases caused by harmful substances we take to our bodies. Another request is availability of soil testing within our sub-county levels and at an affordable prices, or even at no cost. Farmers will know their soil pH. Second is improved production is through sensitization and implementation of the policies towards the objective of the healthy soil, healthy life. Another point request is equity and recognition. For those who are doing the best, be recognized to encourage other farmers to take to the other route or to the needed direction. Policy favoring healthy soil, healthy life should begin within a shorter period of time and be implemented in a good and very effective manner in partnering with the climate smart agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you so much. John, you know I'm mentioning their names on purpose. Tutaulizana maswali. I told you to get to know about 5 people, yeah? Okay. Sawa.
Thank you. Mine, I have some observation from my county and also to the national government. One, I would like to thank the country government of Nakuru because recently they started supplying the sunflower seeds to the farmers for planting. But my question is, they are supplying the seed the month of August and September. Surely, this is a time where we experience adequate of rainfall. Will those seeds really help the farmer? So that is a big, big question, Mr. Githiri. Pamba farmers are appreciating because they have received the sunflower seeds, but we have adequate rainfall. So maybe the seeds will go on waste, because if the farmers misplace the seeds and the county government has used a lot of money to purchase those seeds, they will go to waste. Second thing, now we are crying about our soils because they are very, very acidic and it is not doing well. If you have so many farmers who have planted eucalyptus trees along the river riparians, and we know the eucalyptus trees are enemies of what? Of water. Now, before resettling about the soil, now we are adding another crisis of eucalyptus tree because it will drain all our rivers. In a few years to come, then a crisis of water will what? Will start. So, I urge the national government and the county government to look on that. Let them advise our farmers on planting the friendly trees in our farms. The other issues is that if we move near all the counties, some farmers are using synthetic pesticides. And those synthetic pesticides are very, very harmful. You can see those containers are just thrown anywhere. If maybe I was spraying my farm today, I'm just adjacent to the river, I am going to the river, draw the water, put in my knapsack, put the pesticide, hiyo mkebe nikimalizia, where do I take it? I just leave it along the riverbank. So I would wish if we could have a policy to supply those disposal bags for those pesticide containers, so that either the government or the national government or the county government will be coming and collect them at a central place to go and dispose. Thank you.
Finally, we have Amy. And then Felix, you will do a punchline, but you remain seated after.
Okay, thank you so much. What I would like to tell my fellow members is that we want to engage on the stakeholders to preach on the regenerative agriculture adoption, because so far we can see in our area we have 42 FFSs, which is a bit, because in the larger Kericho County. So that's maybe some small portion of Kericho County have practiced regenerative agriculture. So we urge the stakeholders to also preach the gospel. Another thing, because learning is a continuous process, we need more trainings and workshops. And also the field visits or field days for farmers, because farmers, they believe in seeing. So seeing is believing. So when they see, they believe this one will make it. The third one is to hire qualified facilitators to support extension services in the counties. So that is a request for our counties, that if we give the opportunity to these champions or the other facilitators, they have the skills and they have the experiences. So they will do a very nice job. So another thing is RA requires patience. So I urge all of you in this house that let us practice RA and let us be patient, because it will pay back in future. Number 4, we need to have favorable policies to govern farmers when they are doing these practices. Asa nilikuwa nimesema hiyo mambo ya composting and biopesticide. And then my parting shot, if we continue using chemical fertilizers normally, this soil will treat us abnormally. Thank you so much.
I think if we are on X, you know X, the former Twitter, there's a page known as @Soccer Kenya. There's another one known as SNV. There's another one known as Realms 2020. Am I right? Please put the hashtags and put this, these punchlines that Amy has said, that John has said, Philip has said, Rogers has said, and what Fred has said. I hope I got those names right. Yeah, I've repeated those names again. Over to you, Felix.
Okay, good afternoon. Okay, fine. I give my parting shot by saying, looking at the analogy of the farmer and the rat trap. So this is how it goes. A farmer and his wife brought a rat trap in the house. And a rat, through a crack, saw them unpacking it and thought, which kind of food has been brought for that day? Out of curiosity, going to check closer look, it found that it was a mousetrap. And then ran out to the hen, the pig, and the cow, telling them that there is a mousetrap in the house. All of them just said, sorry, it is a mousetrap. Nothing we can do. And it ended there. The rat felt dejected, went, and did not go to the trap because it knew it was a trap, and just stayed in the crack where it was staying. At night, the farmer's wife had a sound of the trap catching something. So he thought, now a rat has been caught. So walking towards it, it was a snake. The snake bit the farmer's wife. The farmer's wife fell ill and was taken to the hospital. At the hospital, they were told that the fever she was having, it is only the chicken soup which can bring it down. The farmer had no option to come home and slaughter the chicken for the soup. She never got better. More visitors came to the home. The farmer had to feed the visitors. The pig was slaughtered. The farmer's wife finally died. There were more visitors. The cow had to be slaughtered. So all of them went down. It's only the rat which stayed. That's the only survivor. So what I'm saying is, even when it comes to the matters of what we're now talking about, RA, let's all be accountable. Let's speak out and let's take action together. We should not think that it is somebody's problem. If a bad fertilizer is brought, it is to all of us. If our soils become unhealthy and production go down, all of us, farmers and non-farmers, will suffer. Without food, because we buy the food which the farmers produce, isn't it? And the farmers depend on the soil. So let's all of us work together to improve the soils, and let's speak out in all matters when we see something is not working right. And whatever is also working right, let's also amplify it, and more people join us so that together we succeed. So that's what I'll say for now.
Asanteni sana. Let's give them a big round of applause and thank Fred from Kakamega County. You can take your seats. Rogers from Bungoma, Philip from Uasin Gishu. Yeah. We are going to give just, or do you want to respond now? You can respond on it now. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, okay, no problem. So as I said, let's just keep the questions. We are going to respond to them. Philip from Uasin Gishu, John from Nakuru, and Amy from Kericho County. We now have another session. We'll give you an opportunity to speak again, yeah. So we'll have an opportunity to now have the county directors of agriculture. From Kericho County, we have Naomi Kimeto. Please take the seat. We also... No, but I've just been told CDS. Which list? Okay, sorry, there's a mix-up. So we have CDA for Kericho County, Mr. Elijah Mutai, sorry about that. And then Nakuru County, we have Charles Gadhiri. Please take your seats. And then Uasin Gishu, we have Ismail Asowa. I hope I'm pronouncing the names correctly. And then Bungoma, we have Miss Jane Gitau. And Kakamega, we have Titus Omengo. Then we have from Soka, we have Felix Odingo. Karibuni. So I'll take a seat today. Oh, no, just take one. Okay, I'll take the other one. I'm going to take a seat now. Okay, so lady and gentlemen, I don't know why we have always one panelist who's the lady. I think we need more women. So we'll just give the opportunity for Felix to give us some opening remarks about how the RIMS project has been over the couple of years that you've been there and what you've witnessed with the RIMS project. Just some few opening remarks.
Okay, fine, thank you. Okay, RIMS project has been there for the past 4 years. And our main focus from SOCA was in the enabling environment. That's in the output 3 of the RIMS project. So the other parts, I think Sigay talked about, we'll talk about on their outputs, which are output 1 and 2. So within this, in the counties, we started in the counties by starting the MSPs, county MSP. We were cascading because there was the national MSP. So we are now cascading the MSPs to the counties. And we cascaded the MSP to all the 5 counties. I think only the 3 have been with us. I think we have 2 from the 2 counties who joined in after we had started, but they have a brief of what the MSPs were about. So the MSPs were the stakeholders were invited, were in the invitation of the representatives of the county to the CDS office and the climate change unit that is in the Bungoma County. And with these MSPs, we had so many actors in them. And we started by doing the county strategic plan for the MSP, which each and every county has a strategic plan and the actions to follow, and these ones had to be reviewed. In the operationalization of these MSPs, we had another meeting, a second round of meetings, whereby now we are coming up with actual actions which the counties are going to go through with, and the counties to sift through the policy priority areas which they wanted to develop. But these policies were the ones which are going to support RA. So we got 3 counties which brought in their priority areas, policies, that is Kakamega, Bungoma, and Uasin Gishu. Kericho and Nakuru who are yet to present their policies to push forward with us. So within these MSPs, there was a cascading because it came to the realization that the MSP only at the county level was not covering enough. A lot of actions is on the ground. So we did cascading to the sub-counties, and now the MSP now was expanded to involve they're called scouts, sub-county agriculture officers. So, but now the scouts were to hold their MSPs at that grassroots level, at the sub-county levels, upon realization that some of the development partners work only in given areas within a county. So within that county, you are able to map out those work there and now find their actions in that place. And at that level also is where we also did the training for the M&E training tool, how effective, how this has been utilized. Maybe we'll get a report from the national part. And also the counties will also give us a report of how they have been able to utilize this tool or what is hindering them from utilizing that tool after that training. So that's one of the things we'll look at. And also now we'll say that we'll just want to encourage the counties to be more proactive with the MSP, because that is the only forum whereby everybody feels safe. And because under an umbrella of a county, which is the legal entity, and those who are supposed even to sign MOUs with, it will enable sharing of information, and even at the county level, they are able to get all the information of what people do in the counties, as opposed, because I think when we were started with those counties, at times they cannot clearly tell you, even knowing who is where and what they're doing. Specifically in their counties, they have again to look for information, meaning the information was not so centralized. So if these MSPs, it is to encourage centralization of information of everybody, what they're doing and where they are, and they can be able even to coordinate. If a partner comes on the ground, they can advise and say, if you're going, we'll advise that this area is adequately covered with what you are doing. I think now you can go to another area. It can help even in such that we avoid more duplication. Because I think, and also in the counties, we are looking at the information. There's been a lot of confusing information because everybody comes with a terminology, talking about the same thing, but doesn't show as if it's a continuation. Because I think in the county, they're talking about, the county, they talk about conservation agriculture. Another one, they'll talk about, yes, climate smart agriculture. But when we come in, if somebody comes in, say agroecology, it looks like a new thing off the other one. They don't show the connection. Another becomes regenerative agriculture. Then it comes, it's something else. It's organic farming. So many things are happening. So how do we harmonize this information to avoid confusing the farmer? Because the lead farmer is same, loaded with the same information, but from different sectors, and now the key messaging is also a little bit conflicting. So these are the, how do we help even harmonize? And we felt that such a forum is able now to help synchronize information and also help the lead farmers who are now doing more of the extension work with the workers, with the farmers down on the ground, so that they understand what is going on and they control the content.
I think that's a good overview of the project, and I think you've also shared some of the experience you've had at the county level. Now over to the county directors of agriculture. So this is a question that I will allow you to respond to. It's like a general question, just sharing the lessons learned, especially with interacting with the RIMS project. What has been the success story? We heard what farmers have said, but from your level where you sit, how is that in terms of the success stories, the adoption rate? And also they've raised pertinent questions around policies, the disconnect between national and county level policies. How does that impact especially on the work that you do and what is being done at the RIBS project? So I'll give the ladies first.
So thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Good afternoon. My name is Jane Gitao Mukonambi. I'm the director in charge of climate change. I would want to clear the air here. I'm not a CDA. I used to be a CDA, but I was transferred to head the Directorate of Climate Change. And I think being a director of climate change, I had a better opening to deal with regenerative agriculture. And regenerative agriculture is actually supposed to conserve the natural resources that we have in the county. And as we talk about natural resources, we are talking about water, we are talking about the soil, we are talking about the forests that we have in the county, and majorly that is what we want to conserve. As a directorate, and actually as a CCU, we are mandated to mainstream climate change actions into the key sector departments in the county. And mainly we've picked on agriculture and livestock. That is very key to us. We have picked on environment and natural resources. And then we have picked on water as a key sector. And what we are doing is that our work is not actually to go to the field and do the activities, but our work is to mainstream. And one of the things that we have done that has not been mentioned here is to make sure in our CIDP, that generation CIDP, we have integrated climate change actions into those key sector departments. We've also made sure that in all the documents that we are doing in the county, we are integrating those key sectors in the county. And agriculture is very key in Bungoma County, bearing in mind that 90 or 95% of the population is totally dependent on agriculture. And we are dependent on rain-fed agriculture. We are not, very little irrigation is being done in the county. And so that we could get the actions that we want to carry out under the various sectors, we started by preparing a county climate change action plan. Actually, we started with a PCLA, Participatory Climate Risk Assessment, whereby we were able to engage with the communities. We came up with the hazards, the risks that are affecting our people in Bungoma County, and at the end of it, we came up with the actions. And these actions mainly fell in agriculture, where we talked about climate-smart agriculture. What we are talking about, regenerative agriculture, is actually under climate-smart agriculture. That is a key action we are supposed to carry out in the county. And as we are doing these activities, of course, we are also we are mandated to source for resources that can be able to carry out these activities. And I think that is what we've done very well. Because as per now, we have been able, I think I heard somebody talking about FLOCA. We have received very good amount of money. In fact, Bungoma was almost the highest. In fact, we were the highest in Kenya in those monies. And these monies, 20% of it is supposed to go towards agriculture actions. 20% is supposed to go towards environment and natural resources actions, and then 20% towards water actions. And that is what we have done. Agriculture, actually, we've given more than 20%, bearing in mind that is my mother ministry, about 27%, so that they can carry out those actions. I don't want to say in terms of millions, because it is a good amount of money. And then the other departments, water 24% has gone towards water activities. And then environment and natural resources, we've given around 21%. And then we've picked on other sectors like energy. So we are moving together. And I think there's a question that Felix was asking. Now you go to some counties and you're asking, what is FLOCA? They don't even understand. And you know, that is the giant in the counties. I think I was mentioning about it, and I feel each and every person, every sector should be able to interact with what FLOCA is doing in the counties, so that we can be able to move together as a team. Because I'm looking at it, maybe SOCA will be out for some times, and maybe the community members will be left on their own. What can they lean on? So it's very good. I think my team from Bungoma have been mentioning about FLOCA. Come to me. Let's have discussions and see how we can be able to forge forward. I think that is what I want to say, because now I'm not representing the CDA. I'm standing here as a County Director of Climate Change. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Titus Omengo. As you heard before, I'm the County Director of Agriculture, Kakamega. I want to appreciate SOCA for all the initiatives that they are doing in the county, especially the issue of promotion of RA technology. We appreciate, because looking at the representative from the county, especially the champions who are here and farmers, I can give an assurance that I've gone on the ground, and RA technology is highly promoted in Kakamega. Apart from them, we have other players who are there, and it's because there is conducive environment for that technology. Sometimes back, about 2 months ago, I attended a major field day which was organized through SNV, and I think SOCA was part of it. Having been the guest of honor, I got a surprise of my eyes, because I found farmers are already converted. And the demo where they were doing the field day was surely a clear indication that this technology is highly going in the field. Now, what I want to say, that Kakamega is a big county, especially it's the largest rural county, with a population of over 2 million, and 12 sub-counties, 60 wards. So, and these, you can just imagine the level, the number of mouths that are in Kakamega. So feeding these people using the conventional ways of farming, we will get stuck. Now, that's why we have no choice but to embrace RA technology in Kakamega. And moving forward, it is part of the governor's manifesto to ensure that we are food secure, and also we create wealth. So also we have a platform there, the CASCOM, of course, which brings partners together to ensure that we roll out and we agree, what are you doing here? A new partner coming, we tell them, no, you can't go in this region. There are already many players there, so do this and that. Because at the moment, these RA technologies has really attracted many players in the sector. Now, in addition to that, Kakamega, I think maybe other counties will tell us, it was passed in the cabinet. There is a day which is February 21st. It is called Governor Farmers Day, where we meet and then farmers representatives come with their MOU, with issues that they feel the county has maybe slept in class and it needs to wake up. They present it in the presence of the governor and his executive, especially the Minister of Agriculture. It is picked up and those issues are done. So the following year, you check and see what they've done. So the issue of RA has come out very strongly. As a parting shot, I would want to say this. SOCA has assisted us to develop 2 policies. That is the horticulture strategy and also the agroecology policy. Like horticulture is just true, it was passed. Now, yesterday we were validating the agroecology policy, and I'm sure it is on the right step. We have these policies which are very handy, especially to support RA. But moving forward, I can say that we have other policies that were done initially. I've seen the representative of Agra here. They assisted us to do the sustainable land management policy, which we are implementing. Even RA is fitting in that. Also, as GIZ did for us, soil management strategy, which we are implementing. But to cut the story short, I've had the issue of inorganic fertilizer and organic fertilizer. Surely, I'm the one who normally supplies the inorganic fertilizer in Kakamega. Big deal. And I'm sure you're looking at me with eyes that you are the problem. But let me tell you, I've lobbied until through other agencies, and Kakamega has now an organic fertilizer factory. There's one we're being set by Region Organics or Synergy. It is in North River, but now they are setting up in in Kakamega County. And they've started, and we are using the waste management, we're using the waste, the inorganic waste from the market, and so that we convert that and we make it organic, the organic fertilizer. So you can see at the end of the day, we have that. And then so, because I've been the director coordinating this fertilizer, inorganic fertilizer, which I have no big control because, you know, it's a deep state. It's a government policy to see that farmers get fertilizer to increase production. And organic fertilizer is not readily available. Ask even farmers, they go to the agro dealers, if they can get a heap of fertilizer, organic fertilizer. But now to finish up, we've pushed it until now, His Excellency the Governor has accepted that we'll put it under subsidy fertilizer. Because we spend over 700 million on organics, on inorganic fertilizer. Now we're incorporating this financial year to start bringing the organic fertilizer, so that RA at least will be realized, so that when you tell farmers avoid this inorganic fertilizer, then they have an alternative to do that. But further than that, we are working with other partners. We are working with other programs like what my colleagues have talked about, the issue of FLOCA. I sit in the steering committee of coordinating unit for climate change as a representative from the Minister of Agriculture. And all this in mind, Kakamega being one of the highest producers of local vegetables, you cannot produce local vegetables using inorganic fertilizer. You just have to go RA and you have to go at least organic fertilizer. Thank you. Maybe I'll respond to more as I get questions.
Thank you very much. My name is Asawa Ismail. I'm the Deputy Director of Agriculture of Uasin Gishu. Yeah, I can see my colleagues are really articulating well on the RA programs. I would also emphasize that we have been implementing it together with our partners, those who are implementing that component, that is the GLUC. And we work together, and as you can attest, we have quite a number of our RA champions here with us. So as a department, of course, in Uasin Gishu, the climate change component, that department is under environment. But we are really working together. And as I would also appreciate Csa for bringing us together. And we took the policy aspect of it, and we have come up with agribusiness strategy. So in this agribusiness strategy, we have really looked at the manifesto of the current government, that's the county government, and it's actually, it is anchored on 10 nguzo, we call them nguzo kumi, and agriculture and value addition is nguzo number 1. So that means that we really have the political will, and a lot of initiatives are there in place to support agriculture. And it's now just maybe a challenge to the RA champions that they should come up very strongly to articulate the issues. I'm aware they presented the policy to the CEC. That is the, it was sometimes 2 months ago. And we were there with Csa, and actually the whole team of agriculture was there. So what we need to do, where I know we still have a challenge as a county, you know, Uasin Gishu, when we talk of farming in Uasin Gishu, these are majorly large scale. Because in Uasin Gishu, anybody having 20 acres and below, that one is called a small scale farmer. So you can just imagine. So, and you know, we are now the new city. In fact, it's the city of Eldoret, because we have Nairobi city, but this is now the city of Eldoret. So you see, we have a challenge of feeding many mouths, and this is actually an opportunity for agribusiness. And actually, we have to integrate our farming systems, because as can be attested by the GLUC, I know when they were setting up their demos, they must have do the soil testing. Uasin Gishu, our soils are very acidic. The fact is, ranges between 4.5 to around 5. It hardly reaches 6, which is actually the most ideal soil pH for most crops. So you see, we really have a challenge, and we also have that challenge of the quantities to be provided. Because when we talk of the organic fertilizers or the manures, there must be in quantities for effective adoption, because we cannot talk of a few wheelbarrows or so, because as those who are serious, those who are in business, because agribusiness is commercialization. So those who are commercializing agriculture, these are very serious people, and it is in large scale. Otherwise, I know we shall move the journey together. Agriculture is a priority area for our current government, and it is even in infrastructure. It is given support, because we have a mechanization center. We call it AMS, Agriculture Mechanization Services. We have the modern CS tools, like we have pneumatic planters. We also have the chisel plows. Those have been purchased, and actually it is geared towards supporting climate smart agriculture. Otherwise, we are together in the journey. We welcome more, our partners and the champions. You are welcome, we can move together. Otherwise, thank you very much. That's the brief I can give for Uasin Gishu. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Elijah Mutai, County Director of Agriculture, Kericho County. Maybe I will start first of all to thank the soccer team, because the first thing that we have seen is that we have managed to bring together all the stakeholders that are participating in the agriculture sector in Kericho County, and this includes especially the public institutions, we have got research institutions, we have got universities, and all other stakeholders that are involved in agriculture. That is what we have done. We have managed to bring together on board so that we can be able to coordinate all the agricultural activities that we have in Kericho County. No, we have realized that, in fact, all the NGOs, all other actors, they normally come and go direct to the farmer. They do their own things without the knowledge of even the people concerned. So this platform actually has come at the right time, so that can be able to coordinate accordingly of what is going on in terms of agricultural activities on the ground. And that is what we have done. We have even managed at least to know who are there in the agriculture sector in our county. And the other thing which I want to comment actually is that in terms of the array technologies that we have witnessed, we had a field day the other time, sponsored by the SNV, and we have realized that there's a lot the farmers have done. And here, as Department of Agriculture in the county government, we come here strongly so that can be able to provide what we call policy frameworks, so that can be able to enable those actors to continue doing their work for the benefit of the farmers that we have on the ground. The other thing that we do is actually what you have as the mainstay, as the backbone, is the what we call extension services. We come in strongly because we have got officers that are there right from the county level up to the ward level. And we have the actors have actually utilized these officers with their technologies so that can be able to do proper training in terms of the array technology that we have seen, and in fact, linking them even to market. We are not saying that the market is a challenge, even though it is there, but we are saying that with efforts and proper communication, the product that we are producing in terms of what we call organic, with proper communication and information, those products that we produce under RA technologies can be effectively sold in the market with a better price than the normal one that we have seen. What we have also participated strongly in terms of these RA technologies is to partner with the research institution in terms of what we call soil analysis, soil testing. And that is what we normally do with our culture that we have in our county. And we have got private lab testing companies that are there that can be able to assist the farmers. And we have come in strongly so it can be able to enable them to operate and assist the farmers to make sure that they have the proper information in terms of whatever they have in their soils. We have witnessed and we are in agreement with all of us here as the county directors that the soil that we have, you know, there's been used over times, over generation, and the acidity has really gone up. And there's need that we be able to come in strongly so that we be able to address this situation through this what we call RA technology that we have witnessed. We can be able to refer back to original state of the soil that we see, so that can be able to produce maximum and use that soil as we have been doing it. So we partner with these stakeholders so that can be able to assist the farmers. These days, the information the farmers comes in, we inform them that testing can be done adequately within the county, and they can be able to do it with affordable prices, where even those companies can be able to go to the farm and then get your soil, get tested, and you get the result on that level here. From there, we only request and recommend to the farmers that whatever the result that we have got, please implement. Instead of having it, you just put it there. And then it will be of your benefit and the benefit of the farmer that we have. The other thing which I want to say that we partner strongly with the climate change unit. FLOCA is there in our county, and we have been participating so that we can be able to make sure that the farmers do have also input in this. We have cascaded the climate change unit up to the ward level so that farmers can be assisted through this funding model, and they can be able to address the issue of the climate change. We are also partnering in terms of policy implementation formulations, policy formulation and implementation and cascading according to what we call CIDB of that county, of our county. So we partner strongly there so it can be able to do policies that are cared in terms of supporting the RA technologies that we are implementing. What we are requesting actually, because now that we are hearing that the projects may be coming to an end, but there's a second phase. We need faster to cascade and do all the counties that we have, so it can be able to feel the effect of the added technology that we have. We normally also, because these technologies are done in a specific areas. So what we like to do actually is to have these information technologies be shared in a manner where everybody will get it and able to implement it. So in this case, we are developing a platform where we can share the information with other farmers, so it can be able to adapt and do what we call to practice it. And then what we are also advocating, especially in Kericho County, where we have almost 60 to 80% of our land is under tea. And this one is becoming an issue because that is what we call monocropping in terms of technology. So you are trying to do what we call diversifications in terms of introducing the other technologies, so it can be able to have other crops that we can be able to grow in this Kericho. Because Kericho can be, virtually can grow anything. But because of the issue of tea that has been there over centuries, farmers have tended to go and lean towards tea production only. But you want to change that issue by introducing these new technologies, so that can be able to benefit the farmer at the end of the day. So that is what really we are doing as farmers. We are coming up with policies, which I think there's not this level, where we came in to do what we call food security policy, which I think we'll be able to, is at the cabinet level, we'll be able to do that, and we shall be able to coordinate with our partners so that can be able to assist us. We wanted to also to review what we call extension policy, so that can be able to collaborate in terms of the new technology that we are coming in, like RA and others, so that this one can be able to assist the farmers because of what we call changing technologies in this world. So those are the issues that we are coming in strongly, and we'll be able to do that with partners that we have here in this case. Otherwise, thank you so much.
Yes, good afternoon all. I'm Gidire Chaus, the County Director for Agriculture Nakuru for the last 3 months. So I'm the newest amongst the directors, isn't it? But of course I'll not miss something to tell you and share for Nakuru County. Otherwise, I'm very grateful. I feel very privileged to actually be here today. And I really want to appreciate S&P, soccer, and also the researchers who are here from the Great Lakes University. And really say that as Nakuru County where your place is actually a very strategic situation, because we are the #2 producer in terms of food production. I don't know if I'm wrong or right, but the statistics show that if Nakuru coughs, then the entire country will go. Yeah, it will be more sick, isn't it? Yeah, because in terms of ensuring that we have food. So our core mandate is to ensure that we have food production, and not in the perspective that it is food that is safe and nutritious, and also to ensure that we have to have raw materials for our industries and also wealth creation and employment creation. But based on all those things that are there, we realize that as a county, the way we have been doing our agriculture activities, things must change. And on a positive note, even the county assembly actually witnessed that over time, our production has been declining over time. And we needed to actually have a way that we have to address that, because what is happening is that the population is increasing. The rate that has been put aside for production, the productivity is going low. So what has been happening is that we came up with issues that are going to assist us to ensure that we are able to sustain production. And the only way to go to sustain our production is what we are saying, that we need to address the issues to do with the soil health. So the county embarked on a serious thing. First, they did the soil test for the entire county, several samples for all the 55 wards that are doing agricultural production. And what we are informed is that our soils actually require out. In terms of organic matter, we are very low. In terms of pH, we are very low. Meaning that if we go that way, it will mean that time will come that we shall be unable to produce food. And our position as a county that should provide food will be jeopardized. On issues pertaining to what the moderator told us, that we narrow down to adoption and the policies. I would really say that I've interacted with the Moro sub-county and also Subukia sub-county. I was in Subukia for 1 month before I came to the to the county office. And what I would wish to state is that all the activities that they have been carrying out, and even the approach that they are using, the FFS approach, that is an approach that was actually started way wrong around Indonesia. And it assisted the farmers there to actually do the normal actual work, the way they have told us here. So that you're able to observe. Then when you observe how things are running, then of course, hakuna mtu akisema kukuambia this is the way to go. Wewe mwenyewe ndio utakuwa umeamua, because you have seen that you practice this, it doesn't work. You practice this, you compost, it is working, isn't it? So it's a very good approach, and I really concur with the entire team here that if we go that direction, we are likely to actually ensure that there is sustainability in production and also the soil health, and also ensuring that our biodiversity is not affected. On the same note, if you look at also as a county, the way we have done our production, we are maintaining, we have no soil cover, we have nothing. Soil conservation is not done. Lake Nakuru already is a big outcry, because all the inorganic materials that have been within the farms are all now in the lake, isn't it? Meaning that what is happening is that no fish from that lake can actually be used by any human being. Analysis were done. They have a lot of heavy metals from the industrial waste, from the farms, meaning that the production systems that we are having actually is also affecting our environment in a very big way. So those anthropogenic activities for our farmers is affecting our biodiversity. On the same note, I witnessed through my officer that there was a very big field day that was held in one of the sub-counties, that is Subukia, where that 6 farmer field schools were actually awarded with a certificate that they have gone through the entire process, meaning that they are also confirmed to be adopting at least 5 RIA practices. So that was done in Nakuru, and I really wish to commend the team that was actually helping our farmers to undertake that. Then on other areas of also ensure that we have also adoption of these climatic smart agriculture practices. Our county has established a hub, and that one is actually targeting the potato farmers in terms of ensuring that they are given implements that do conservation agriculture in a centralized hub, whereby farmers can upload on an app, and if they require any of the implements, maybe for CA or any other activity, they just click and they are able to be connected now with the mechanization services. That was done courtesy of the county government and the Nakuru Potato Union. Now, I'll touch slightly on issues pertaining to the policies. One I've already mentioned about what we are doing, because the county assembly told us that we must come up with a document, and we are really appealing for the partners who are here. Nakuru, we are the initial stages of developing that agroecology policy, and I had the opportunity of interacting with a few that has been done for Muranga and I think another place. But I don't know, maybe the people who are more conversant with the agroecology and those aspects. There was a statement that is like what my colleague here is saying, that you may get a definition here and you place it in a different place. So it's like some concepts in those policies that are already developed has, of course, it's like it is actually moving away from what needs to be done. So going forward, we need to actually, through the county agriculture steering committee or the CASCOM that we are there, we are very open, so that we get partners who can really assist us to come up with a comprehensive document that can advise the county for very many years in terms of ensuring that we have sustainable production. Then, if you look at also the policy that guides on matters of organic fertilizers, we had one session with the County Agriculture Committee, the KS Standard 2290 of 2011, just to ensuring that much as we are spending so much on the inorganic fertilizers, we can also do a lot of it on ensuring that we as a county invest on an unit that can really help to produce the organic materials for our farmers. That is already in the pipeline. Then to close it up, it's like globally, even if we are unable to implement some of those things, like the AU regulation on deforestation regulation, it will force us to do that. Because we have products like coffee, we have products like soy. I saw soya, isn't it? Yeah? Yeah, if activities that you are carrying out, then you'll be locked out from exporting any of your products to the European Union, isn't it? So it's the high time that we really need to embrace conservation and also ensuring that the environment is very safe for those for the activities that for sustainability. I wish to raise my case there, and otherwise I'm very grateful.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think we've really heard quite a lot of what is going on within the county, and right now it is 1:37. We want to utilize the last 13 minutes or so, or maybe more, depending on how many questions we have. Hatufungi mtu leo. Today we are here to learn. We are here to exchange ideas. So we are just going to open it up for questions. But before we do that, I will let the Director of Climate Change and the CDS just give a punchline, 1 minute or less. What are we taking home today, especially with all these challenges that we've had from the farmers? How can you encourage them so that when they go home, they know, hey, my CDA or my county director of climate change is doing this, and we appreciate what you're doing, especially when you hear that the climate change department is giving 27% to agriculture. Sio ni nzuri? Yeah, so let's just hear some words of encouragement from them. Thank you.
So thank you very much. I think my parting shot, before I say anything, I really want to appreciate what SOCA has done in the county, because I'm one of the beneficiaries in my directorate. They assisted me to prepare a climate information service plan, and it is taking me to another level of doing a climate information hub in the county, whereby we will be able to inform all the 6 key sectors on the rainfall patterns, the weather patterns in Bungoma County. You can call from Nairobi, and if you want to travel to Bungoma, you can ask, is there rainfall in Bungoma? How is the weather? Do I travel now or do I come tomorrow? So I think that is where we are headed to, and I think it is courtesy of SOCA. It's a document that is complete. It's not a small document. It's about 67 pages, and that is a document that we'll be using in the county. I want to say like Wangari Maathai. Wangari Maathai said, if you don't take care of the environment will not take care of you. And it is already happening. You can see the issues that we are having, the hazards and the risks that we are having in our country, Kenya, and the world at large. We are trying to fight, we are trying to now to talk about mitigation. We are talking about adaptation. But remember, this word was so spoken so many years ago. If we had taken care of our environment, I think the environment would really be taking care of us. And this is a word I'm passing over to our farmers. You know, it is the farmers, the highest contributor of greenhouse gases. It's actually the farming community. In terms of livestock, the way we do our farming in livestock, the way we do our farming in crops, if we can change our perspective and actually pick on what we are being trained, especially under regenerative agriculture, we are going to be doing very well in the reduction of the greenhouse gases. As what you are doing, the activities you are doing, you are actually tending to go towards sequestering carbon from the atmosphere. And then you are trying to create resilience for yourself as you do farming. We want to see the farmer getting money into his or her pockets at the same time your atmosphere. So I think that is what I would wish to say as we end this session. And finally, the last one is the issue of capacity building. I think I've been a trainer for all these farmers. Who has ever seen me? Just lift up your hand. Whether you are from Nakuru, you are from Kericho, you've never seen me anywhere? You have seen me? Yes. I've trained all of you as a trainer in sessions in Eldoret. And I think when you're talking about policies, you feel good when you train people on issues of policies, and they have picked up, and now they can support themselves. And you remember when I talked about tokenism, you realized when you are doing public participation, people were asking, how much are you going to give us? And you ended up working with the field schools. Why? It's not very easy to deal with the members of the community. And I'm happy that you had the farmer field schools that you could be able to engage. But if I came to you, I'll tell you, you didn't cover enough. If you picked on the farmer field schools, what about the other farmers who are not in the farmers field schools? But of course, to me, those are marks. You got more than an A. You know, you can have an A of 75, and another one gets an A of 99. But the fact remains, it is an A. So well done, my farmers from Molo, farmers from Uasin Gishu, farmers from Kericho, and which other county? Bungoma County, I was forgetting my county, and farmers from Kakamega. God bless you.
Thank you. I think mine will be precise. We all agree that RA is good, is a great initiative. So moving forward, I think from here, it is a matter of going back to our counties and looking at it on how we are going to scale it up. The issue is not that RA is not there, it is there. But what we are facing right now, you can hear, it is a problem of scaling up, meaning that we have to take it to another level. So, mambo ni matatu. Mambo ni ngapi? We are here because first we've come to get knowledge about RA. And then here, just to review on the skills we know about RA. And then lastly, we are here because scaling up RA, we need an attitude change. So mambo ni matatu. So I just request that mkienda huko waambie watu mambo ni mangapi? Mambo ni matatu. So that we can stop talking about RA, and we are just there down here. And I've had a lot of problems being cited here, but surely those are now the seeds which we can turn upside down and take RA to another level. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me once more thank Csa for having facilitated us to come up with the agribusiness strategy. And this is really a detailed document that outlines how we are going to commercialize agriculture, and including the RA technology in production. It is very challenging that we keep on talking of conservation agriculture, but we don't take enough initiative to actually upscale it. And this is a very good meeting point today, so that as we live here, we work towards upscaling the conservation agriculture. So as a county, I appreciate our farmers who are here today, and I wish to just a little bit remind them that the extension service is, I would say it is being enhanced in Uasin Gishu, and more so in even some other counties